Okay, Mujin. How Genshin Impact was held hostage for 240 days by the CCP. Which, the only thing that I can think of with anything being held hostage for 240 days in Genshin was the players being held hostage by Ayaka. So if this is about the Ayaka banner, I'm kind of interested because what can be said for 10 minutes about the Ayaka banner situation? What could this be? Before we get into the reaction, I know that you love the You Laugh You Lose series, and we're going to be starting up the Honkai Star Rail You Laugh You Lose with a banger for Christmas. Make sure to check the pinned comment down below because I'm giving $1,000 for Christmas to whoever's video makes me laugh first. Read the rules, and the form closes on the 19th, so you have one day. Enjoy the video. I'm confused.
Whether you're a player or a hater or just indifferent, one can't really argue just how successful Genshin Impact is as a game.
True.
From making $1 billion in less than 6 months after release.
That's still crazy, by the way. That's a fact that I remember off heart, because in the quiz that we did with Duck, he was like, how much money has Genshin made so far? And I think Min said $1 billion. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it made $1 billion within like easily in the first year. So I was like, I'm just going to go one above, like one little bit above to be closer. And I got it right. But I was like, $1 billion in 6 months is disgusting.
To making an average of $160 million per month. Okay? Per month.
That's stupid.
While boasting around 64 million monthly active players.
Wow.
And, might I add, okay, they made a bigger profit than PlayStation's entire division in 2022. You realize how crazy this is?
Wait, what? Genshin Impact made more money than PlayStation in 2022? That's insane.
This is a game on PlayStation, and they made more money than the console itself. And they didn't just beat them by a small number. They made $400 million more than PlayStation. Okay?
Wow.
This is the power of anime gacha. Now here's the kicker, okay? Because on that same year, they made $400 million more than PlayStation. MiHoYo, which is Genshin Impact's developer, faced an existential, never-before-seen threat to its game and to its studio. And what brought this on wasn't an envious Western developer or
not HoYoverse, but is why they switched to HoYoverse? Was that 2020? No.
Ruthless Chinese competitor at home. No, it was its own government, and it risked everything. That always makes me laugh. So what the hell happened? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to check it out together.
Okay, sick.
But first, if you...
I actually have no idea what happened, by the way.
You are an Américain dégoûtant.
I'm not American.
You probably want to pull for Chevreuse because she has a gun ready to spread freedom whenever she feels like it, especially where there's oil. But let's be real here, the reason why you're pursuing oil is because you have no money. Well, you're in luck because lootbar.gg is a safe, quick, and reliable way to top up your accounts in Genshin and Star Rail. They make their purchases through official HoYoverse channels and offer very attractive discounts. In fact, I'm personally going to buy this pack that usually costs $100.
Bro, I don't understand how this stuff works, honestly. I really don't. How do they make money?
But is discounted to $72. I just have to provide my server and UID. That's it. Boom, I got it. Safe and secure. And if you have any issues, you can always contact their customer service. And what's even better is that if you're a whale and actually got your oil...
Also, we watch the sponsored segments because we support our friends.
Look at this. You can buy 4 packs worth $400 for $300 at the same time. $100 discount. So you don't have to buy it over and over and over and over. Hey, man, it's hard spending money. And we're not done because you can get another 5% discount if you sign up as a new user. So make sure to check out the link in the description and the pinned comment.
I just use Corner Shop.
And get yourself a fake French gun wielder today. Now, I know what you're probably thinking.
I get Bob too.
China interfering in something? No way, right?
Oh, God.
No way.
That skin's better. I don't give a shit what anyone says. This is the better skin. It just is.
But this catastrophe wasn't just limited to Genshin Impact. They interfered in the lives of anyone unfortunate enough to be living on Chinese soil in 2022. Well, how exactly? Look, it's simple. If I say pandemic, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. COVID. Unless you live in Sweden or Belarus, you probably quarantined from 2020 up to 2021. Yes. Thankfully, though, you still had access to food, water, and could, if you wanted to, leave your apartment or house to breathe in the fresh air.
Yeah, go to the shops.
Right?
Sometimes.
I hope so. Now, unfortunately, from February 28th to August 7th, there's a good chance that if you lived in China, you can't say the same.
Oh, yeah. I forgot China had the huge COVID lockdown. And oh my God, yeah. Oh, wow. Was that the reason for the long Ayaka banner? I forgot, dude. I forgot because in my head, I thought it was due to like a death of someone or something, but I think that was a delay to a live stream. Oh, God.
These were unprecedented
it was a really bad lockdown as well, I think, if I remember correctly, right? Like, really bad.
Lockdowns because of the Omicron spread. They came out of nowhere, and the Chinese government took it upon themselves to say, hey, listen, don't worry, we'll handle everything. Close all your stores, close everything, stay in your apartments.
Oh, God.
We'll do food deliveries. We'll bring you food. We'll take care of you. Spoiler alert, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They could not have done a worse job. So even though the Genshin community wasn't...
What? Correct me if I'm wrong here, because I definitely could be. But wasn't there a situation where they were literally like barricading people inside of their homes so they couldn't leave? I remember reading that up. Yes? That's gross.
Perfect. Still isn't perfect. Even they were expecting miHoYo to have some sort of delay or problems with content, seeing the situation in China. But even so, to their credit, they held out for quite a bit before having to make changes. Because it was...
Oh my God, yeah, and then we had the 4-week patches or 5-week patches. Oh my God, everything's coming back to me now. This is like unlocking core memories for me, dude.
At the end of April, when they made this one-of-a-kind tweet that has never happened again since, where they pretty much said, we're delaying an update. This has never happened before.
Yeah, this is scary.
This is huge. They've always kept an insanely well-balanced schedule, with each update coming out having 2 different banners for 20...
This was scary because they said that we're extending the update. Like, we're postponing the update, didn't say how long for, and then you see 240 fucking days left on the Ayaka banner, and you're like, ain't no way.
Days each, and a bunch of events in between. It's always been this way since release at that point. This was the first time they straight up said, listen guys, not only are we delaying the update, we also have no idea what's gonna happen. Yeah. There's no plan laid out here, okay? None. We just hope to survive this damn thing.
But I respect it because, hey, listen, we get 6-week updates all the fucking times. An update every 6 weeks is absolutely wild anyway. We should be grateful for that, honestly, because a lot of games don't update that frequently ever. Especially on the size of Genshin is, but obviously they make a lot of money and they can afford to. They have a lot of employees. It's a great thing. Every 6 weeks is fantastic. But this was still scary at the time.
They then said that they'll provide information as soon as possible. But people were wondering, when would that be? Because the situation in Shanghai, where they were located, was only getting worse.
It was very bad. At the time,
we were nearing the end of the second half of the 2.6 update. Kamisato Ayaka, a popular and well-beloved character by the Genshin community, was the character banner. Now, yeah, she was meant to be there for 20 days. Okay? Just like any character banner. Yeah, sure. But the 20-day timer was running out. And people were wondering what happens. The next version got delayed. So when this timer reaches 0, what are we going to see instead? Now, there were some reasonable theories saying that, oh, it's just going to be a standard character or one of those old banners that weren't too popular or something like that, right?
People really thought the Kaching rerun was coming back. I remember this very clearly. People were like, we're obviously just going to get the Kaching banner back. And I was like, well...
Oh, I wish life was that simple. Because while they were too busy discussing theories and what would happen, the thing actually did happen, and the timer reached 0. No one could have expected what they would find when they'd open the wish menu, though. No one. Because as you can see from this video right here, 240 days. 240. Listen, not only was it more than 20 days, the thing was like 10 times more. No one had ever seen a number like this on a banner in this game. And the reason why this is huge is because it wasn't announced. People just opened up the banner thinking, oh, let me just check out, the character banner, see when it's going to end. And they saw 240
Dude, it was so bad. I do remember, though, a lot of people were like, it's probably just it probably won't last that long. People believed at that point, they were like, it probably won't last that long. And it's probably just there, for that long as like a placeholder. Yeah. And obviously that is what happened. But dude, I remember the amount of people denying that and being like, copium, we're getting a 240-day Ayaka banner. Bro, I didn't know what to think, and I was sat there. As a person who creates content for the game and everything, obviously the situation that was going on was fucking awful at the time. But if they didn't update the game for 240 days, I dread to think what would have happened, because holy shit. That's a very long time, dude.
Shock was mostly coming from the fact that we had no concrete time frame before any of this.
Yeah, nothing.
said they'll have an update as soon as possible. This was the closest form of an update, 240 days. We were asking ourselves, is this really how long it'll take for them to recover? But the simple answer was, they didn't know. No one knew. I don't don't even think the Chinese government
I agree, but it makes me curious. Why wouldn't they have just put like 999 days? Because that would have been better, I think, chat. Thoughts? I actually am curious what you think about that. If you'd have logged on and seen 999 days instead of 240, would that not have been more clear that it was just there as a placeholder? Because 240 days is crazy. It's a very specific amount.
That's how screwed up the situation was.
It would have been funnier
so, of course,
but more
whenever
clear.
something crazy like this happens in the Genshin community, memes start to appear fairly quickly. Like this one right here. And just like with how the Kave glitch completely changed the character as a whole with his personality and how people saw him, this banner changed the way people looked at Ayaka. Because all of
I don't think as much, though. Like, people don't look at Ayaka now and instantly remember the 240-day banner. I don't think.
All of a sudden, you had this very sweet, polite, adorable character that helps you throughout the story and in
Demon
the world
mode.
and is always with you, turn into this absolutely unhinged yandere who's obsessed with you and just
Wait, what is that?
absolutely unhinged yandere.
Yandere, a character, usually a girl who has an obsessive and possessive side in regards to their crush, ready to use violent and murderous means to maintain an exclusive At least you know they like you.
Who's obsessed with you and just won't leave you alone. You don't need any other limit gotchas, do
True.
you? When I will be with you forever.
Exactly.
And
Nope.
of course, we can't go without having the Monica meme from Doki Doki Literature Club. You have Yelan and Cookie Shinobu, which were meant to be the next banner afterwards, just absolutely trapped because they were never gonna
Just
come.
Ayaka, baby.
This is one
Just
of my favorite
Ayaka.
images out of this whole thing, made from Ari Lair. Like,
Dude, that's such a good edit. I actually love that edit.
it is just so accurate.
The three
She
Ayakas.
became eternity. Raiden Shogun strive for eternity, but
Ayaka
at the end of the
achieved
day,
it.
Ayaka, the most wholesome character who helps you fight Raiden, becomes eternity herself.
Yeah.
Look, even the 4-star characters
Yeah.
are her. Everything is her. So then, because of the exaggerated community reaction to this, they just changed it to before version 2.6 ends, which is way more reasonable than 240 days. It should have been that way from the start.
It should.
However, seeing that this is the Genshin community, even something like this can't go without controversy, of course. The majority of the community was in full support of MiHoYo's decisions,
And I do want to say, if people weren't in support of Hoyoverse's or Mihoyo, I can't remember, was it Mihoyo at the time? I think it was Hoyoverse, but I can't remember. I'm just going to say Hoyoverse because I'm used to saying it at this point. But if people were not in support of Hoyoverse's decision at that point, when people were dying left and right because of this shit and getting barricaded into their fucking homes and everything, what the fuck are they thinking, dude? Their fucking 2D pixel gacha game does not come before the lives of a literal country that are getting shafted. Even if it ended well and like turned out well overall, it was still a fucked up time, dude. It was very, very sad what was going on.
wanted them to take care of themselves first before having to worry about the game.
Yeah.
With a little vocal minority who cared more about the game than actual human lives. But you know, it happens. It's the internet, right?
guess,
It's just normal, right? Yeah, it is what it is.
Sadly.
This is because the game was practically frozen in time. It was quite literally being held hostage and it could not move. Now, of course, MiHoYo employees were working remotely. But
Yeah.
the company's priority wasn't to produce new content, it was mostly taking care of its employees and sending them care packages, aka food and water, things to not starve to death, so that they can keep on living post-pandemic and continue to make great games. Now, after no doubt a lot of
very
logistical planning and some ridiculous brainstorming, they managed to get out of this, not in 240 days,
If I remember correctly, wasn't it more like 60 days? I think it might have been less, actually, since the banner. I think it might have been less than 60 days.
but in a month, with
Yeah.
2.7 being released on May 31st.
4 weeks.
And this delay to this day still affects the game because the entire timeline was shifted by a
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. They fixed it by doing the 5-week patch cycles.
month. And while 1 month might not seem like a lot for a
So for those of you that don't know, because of the 4 weeks delay that happened shortly after this, instead of waiting 6 weeks for a patch, we had like 4 patches in a row where we only had to wait 5 weeks. So they shortened like 4 patches in a row to to 5 weeks instead of 6 weeks. Now it's back to what it was, but they caught up. they caught up with it.
Genshin player, you have to understand the main appeal of this game is the fact that there's always something new.
The shorter patches were actually good, though, in my opinion. I mean, I agree for the situation. Would I want the shorter patches permanently? No, because I don't think the quality of the game would be anywhere near as good if they're rushing patches out that much. 6 weeks is already plenty. More than enough.
Log in 1 month.
You've also got to remember, free-to-play have got to save up for characters. Having 5-week patches is a whole week less to be able to save primos and everything. It's just not good. I feel like 6 weeks is perfect.
Like this, normally in a gacha game, means death. But that clearly wasn't the case because it was in 2022 that MiHoYo made more money than PlayStation. Imagine if they didn't have to stop everything for a month. How much money would they have made then? I don't even want to think about it. But hopefully that's the end of the pandemic and we never hear about it again.
Tell me about it.
I hope you learned something new today.
I did.
Make sure to check out the sponsor and
things.
subscribe to the channel. Follow me on XXX and join the Discord. We're almost at 10K members. Woo! Woo! I'll see you next week. Love you so much. Mwah.
Bye. No new band member. Subscribe or you spend 240 days in my dungeon. Chat, that's not an offer, but you should subscribe anyway. I like how he adds a bit of humor to it, even when it's not a very humorous topic. The topic itself... how do I word this? The topic itself is humorous, but the shit that happened to cause the topic is not funny in the slightest, you know? The fact that there was a 240-day Ayaka banner is hilarious, but the reasons for it is very sad and fucked up, but... Ay, dude. Crazy stuff.